You know, having a fear of suffering and having a fear of death are both completely common and totally understandable. But I think they're also fairly useless. Hello and welcome to That Catholic Girl. My name is Dorothea, and as you may have surmised, I am a girl that is Catholic. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because as Christians, we're called to be martyrs. Whether that's a daily martyrdom or a permanent martyrdom, we're still called. And fear of suffering is not going to prevent our suffering, nor is fear of death going to keep us from dying. We are going to suffer and we are going to die. These things are inevitable. And yet still the church teaches us not to be afraid. I mean, why is that? The church doesn't teach us that we have no need to fear death because we won't die. We have a lot of martyrs. We're definitely going to die, and quite possibly in very unpleasant ways. And the church doesn't teach us that we need not have fear of suffering because suffering's enjoyable. The church teaches us not to be afraid because God changes everything. The church teaches us that we need not fear suffering because when we unite our suffering to Christ on the cross, God imbues our suffering with such value and meaning beyond our comprehension. And the church teaches us not to be afraid of death because it was through Christ's death and resurrection that God turned our mourning into dancing. And we get to be a part of that. It's just like St. Paul wrote to the Romans, just as we die with Christ, so too do we believe that we will live with him. So if suffering and death are inevitable, and one of the goals of the Christian life is to constantly be putting yourself in right relationship with God, then doesn't it stand to reason that learning to lean into these things, these hard truths, however nerve-wracking they are, is the path to true freedom? I mean, the worst the world can do is hurt and kill us, which is awful, but we're going to hurt and die anyway. It's like St. Justin the Martyr said to Emperor Antonius Pius, "You can kill us, but you cannot harm us." I am not at all trying to make light of this. I literally have a picture of a skull that says Memento Mori on it next to my bed, so it is the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning and the last thing I see before I go to bed at night, and I still struggle with this daily. It's hard confronting the reality of your death. It's hard bearing the burden of suffering, and I promise I'm not dismissing it, but I also believe that sometimes we have to be willing to sit with the unfiltered reality of this life and the next, so that over time, by the grace of God, we can learn to embrace it without fear or reservation. I think part of the call to carry our cross is the recognition that we may have to die on it as well, and still believe in the resurrection, and still believe that that isn't the end. So this week, I want to challenge you to stop thinking of your death as the end and to start thinking of it as the return. Because if you die in a state of grace, that's exactly what it is. Returning home to heaven, to God, to the angels and the saints, being born into eternal life is not the end. So don't think of it that way. And also, this is a two-part challenge. Every night this week before you go to bed, ask God for the strength to die a martyr if that's what's asked of you. I hope it isn't. I hope that you get to die when you're like 110 years old, surrounded by your family and all of your loved ones with an apostolic pardon and all of the sacraments and just all of the beauty and grace and gift and mercies that this world and the church can give you. Just really beautiful, perfect ending to your life. But the reality is that we may have to die a martyr. And since God knows and we don't, asking for the strength to face whatever lies ahead can only help. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, may God love and bless you. Sit nomen Domini benedictum. Bye. Wait, I totally forgot something. No. This is so bad. But you know what? My refrigerator was just on. So I'm going to say that this was strategic and that I was trying to put myself in a laughing mood before I talk about martyrdom. Yeah, this is going to go great. What was that voice? I don't know why I can't talk today. I also don't know why I'm doing this to my face. I don't know what's happening. Don't procrastinate, kids. So there you go. What does that have to do with this video? Absolutely nothing. You know what I just realized? This is a mortification. This is a sanctifying experience. Thank you. Okay, bye.